So you go out shopping for a hot tub. You hear about fancy jet systems. You hear about fancy light systems. You'll often hear about audio systems. You'll hear about so many of these things that the salesman will say, well, this is why you should buy our hot tub. But unfortunately, in this industry, the things that you don't hear is what you should pay most attention to. You can have your fancy lights. You can have your good jet systems and things like that. But the first thing you need to look for are the 5 things that make a quality hot tub. So instead of having a tub that's going to end up in landfill in 5 to 7 years, you have a tub that's going to do you for 15 to 20 years. So what are the 5 things? Let's talk about it. Okay, the 5 things you need to have to be sure that a hot tub will last decades instead of a few years. I'm going to run through the 5 things here, but I'll also do follow-up videos, taking a deeper dive into each of them, why they're important, and what specifically to look for. Once those videos are done, I'll link them in the description. Now, first of all, you want a self-supporting shell. That simply means that if you remove the skirting and the frame, the shell will hold water without collapsing. Unfortunately, most hot tubs made today have cradle-supported shells. And what that means is that they have cradles or support blocks to support the shell so that it can hold water without collapsing. Now, you might think, what's the big deal? The cradle or the support blocks are there and they're going to reinforce the tub, so what's the issue? Well, the issue is twofold. First, those cradle and support blocks don't always work and you can end up with a cracked shell. But more importantly and more commonly, a cradle-supported shell indicates an inherently weak shell. And that means you'll have a far greater likelihood of seeing spider webbing, which refers to the small micro cracks appearing. They usually appear around the jets, and they cause leaks no matter where they occur. And then, because the shell is so thin, there's not enough shell material around the jets to repair the shell, and the tub will end up in a landfill. So first and foremost, you want a self-supporting shell. Next, you want glued and clamped plumbing lines. Every hot tub manufactured today has glued plumbing, but only a handful supplement that glue with clamps. Think about something. If you have a tub that has 40 jets, you have 80 connection points because each jet has a connection point at the manifold and at the jet itself. That means 80 potential leak points. And with just glue on those connections, what'll happen over time with hot water going through the hoses and causing them to become softer, the water will start to eat away at the glue. And in 6 to 8 years, those connection points will start to leak. A bigger problem with these leaks is actually the fact that they're usually very minor. That means there will be like a small little drip, 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 but the tub won't lose enough water for you to notice it. So you won't even know it's leaking. It will simply make the underside of your hot tub wet. That's going to lead to rotted wooden frames, rusted steel frames, or warped composite frames. If you do happen to notice that the tub is losing water, you'll get a service technician in and he'll likely repair 1 or more leaks. He'll charge you a couple $100 and everything will be good again. But that only lasts a matter of months before you're faced with the same problem again. Eventually, you're going to become so frustrated with it that you'll either have it dragged to a landfill or you'll sell it to some other poor schmuck who'll inherit your problems. So make sure that any tub you look at has clamps on the plumbing lines. Third, you want compression fit jets. Look, for decades, the standard way of building a hot tub was to use a 2-piece shell with a silicone seal. What that means is there would be a silicone or a silicone gasket on the front side of the jet, then there'd be silicone placed around the back side of the jet, and a large plastic nut would be tightened down. That would compress the silicone and create the seal. The problem is, over time, water would eat away at that silicone, especially if you weren't perfect with your water balancing. Plus, every time you turn your pumps on or off in the hot tubs, the jet gets a little jolt from the sudden movement of water. It's just like a little eh. This doesn't hurt anything, but over thousands of cycles over 7 or 8 years, it will cause the silicone to break down. And these two things combined means that with the 2-piece jets, you'll eventually be dealing with jet-to-shell leaks. And just like leaks caused by the lack of clamps on the plumbing, there'll be small leaks, which can lead to much bigger problems and will be a recurring problem, so you end up in the same situation. Now, About 10 years ago, manufacturers moved to compression fit jets. Unlike the two-piece jets, these jets don't depend on a silicone seal. They insert a polymer collar into the hole of the tub, and then the jet is compression fit into that collar. And it takes a massive amount of pressure to push the jet into place. But once it's there, it's not going to leak. First of all, the polymer collars are immune to damage caused by poor water chemistry. Second, any movement in the jet housing caused by the pumps turning on or off, or by you rotating the jets to turn them on or off, is not going to cause a leak because the collar will reseal itself. So make sure you get a tub that has compression fit jets. Fourth, you do not want any hot tub that has proprietary parts in it, folks. Proprietary parts are parts that are designed and manufactured by the manufacturer of the hot tub. And they'll often be marketed, and salespeople will tell you that they're better than the OEM components, which are widely available. But the truth is, proprietary parts serve one purpose and one purpose only, and that is to keep you married to the dealer or the manufacturer. Replacement parts down the road become far more expensive, and oftentimes manufacturers will stop making those parts altogether if they've moved away from that particular subsystem. So after warranty repairs become either stupid expensive or completely impossible. You want your new hot tub to have OEM components. Quality OEM components like control packs from Balboa or Gecko, jets from CMPs or Waterways, and you want standard 48 or 56 frame pumps with standardized plumbing connections. If the tub has OEM components, you can pick up replacement parts easily and inexpensively online, so make sure anything you look at has good quality OEM components. Finally, you want full foam insulation. And guys, this is a tricky one. You'll have a lot of salespeople tell you that a hot tub with full foam insulation is harder to repair, but that's really disingenuous. The truth is, a hot tub with full foam insulation is actually easier to repair, provided the foam used is an open cell foam. Open cell foam will never harden. So if a leak does develop, the technician can very easily trace the wet foam right to the source of the leak, repair the leak, and refoam the tub. Now, some manufacturers use a closed cell foam, which hardens like a rock after a relatively short period of time. They'll often use this type of foam as a way of reinforcing a weak shell. But the real problem with it is that it makes repairs almost impossible because you need a hammer and a chisel to get it out of there and find the leak. The top manufacturers all use a quality open cell foam that never hardens, so it makes repairs extremely easy and inexpensive. The other primary type of insulation that you're going to see on a hot tub is a perimeter insulation system using either a foam board or some form of mylar blanket to trap the heat inside the skirting of the hot tub. And you'll often hear salespeople say things like, oh, this hot tub uses reclaimed heat from the pumps to assist with heating, makes it more efficient. The problem with that is that your spa pumps and your control system are trapped in that high heat environment. The motors on those pumps are not designed to run in a 100+ degree environment, and it's going to drastically reduce the life of your equipment. On open cell foam systems, there's a reflective heat barrier between the foam is up against the shell, and then there's the heat barrier, and the equipment is on the outside of that heat barrier. And then they put vents in the skirting. That allows the equipment to run cooler. So your pumps and your spa pack are going to last a lot longer with full foam insulation. Remember, full foam, but open cell foam only. So there you have it. The 5 most important things to look for if you want a solid, reliable hot tub that's going to last you for decades. Self-supporting shell, glued and clamped plumbing lines, compression fit jets, quality OEM components, and full foam insulation. Once you know that a hot tub you're looking at checks all those 5 boxes, then you can start looking at things like jets and seating capacity and lighting and things of that nature. But do yourself a favor and make sure that first and foremost, your new hot tub is going to give you years of trouble-free operation. I'm Bill, this is Hot Tub University, so until next time, happy hot tubbing.